Greetings, y'all, and welcome to the 1/6 Scale Man proudly presents Say What Comic Book Talk with Friends. As always, we actually have a great panel tonight. One's missing, but he'll probably be in a little bit later. But peace and hair grease to everybody that's out there joining us right now. It's going to be an interesting conversation tonight. It's actually one of my favorite topics. We're talking about Omega level. We're talking about all OP characters, Omega level and beyond. We're talking about characters that, pretty much could we possibly see them in the MCU? And would we see them in the MCU? And would they allow them to be in MCU, considering the simple fact of the power level? So we're going to kind of dive into that. But again, have a very interesting panel tonight with one special guest. So let me just bring them all in here. The usual suspects all day, every day. How y'all doing, fellas?
Hey.
What's good? What's up, good people?
What's up, man?
What's going on? Anthony, we got my man Anthony from 6 Scale Mafia in the building. Now, 6 Scale Mafia, for a reason, is this dude, you know what I mean? I think he works for the mob behind the scenes, so you might, want to watch yourself tonight and watch how you speak and watch the shit that you say, because this man, come on, man. You already know what it is. Anyway, how you doing, bro?
Man? Yeah, just another day. Just excited to talk about some comics, man.
Hell yeah, man. I'm glad to have you here, bro. I cannot wait. I'm glad to have you here. We also got the usual suspects. We got my man Vin Dog, the man with the room. He never wants to jump into that. You know what I mean? He never wants to talk to y'all about the room. He wants to keep it quiet, but we're going to have one segment, one night about the room itself. We're going to jump in. So anyway, what's going on, Vin Dog?
Man, just living life, man. Just a lot going on. Busy, but man, there's so much great stuff surrounding this time of the year. There's a lot ramping up to the end of the year, so it's a lot to talk about. A lot coming up. It's exciting time.
Yes, man, definitely, bro. Glad to have you here tonight. And we got the one and only butt naked assassin himself. My man, Obi-Wan Riley in the building. What's going on tonight, bro? You know this.
Okay. All right. I
Come on, man.
Got him on a laughing spell, man.
Come on, man. Yo, that's the first time I got this man speechless on camera, straight up. Like, damn. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Live up to it, bro. Butt naked assassin. That shit underlay, bro.
I don't know where that came from.
Hey.
I feel like if I followed through on that, this channel would definitely get demonetized. So for now, I'm gonna stay fully clothed.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I'm not wearing pants. I mean, you don't know. Everything's good though.
That's good.
Actually, I've very much been enjoying it. I just finished catching up today on the King in Black event. I had fallen behind, and so I just finished that today.
That's a good ass series, bro.
What's that?
Yeah.
It's a good ass series, bro.
It was really good, and I think it's got a lot of implications for certain characters moving forward. So I'm pretty psyched for that. I loved the art. The art was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the concepts that they played with in that, with like the Celestials and stuff, it was really cool. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. And I'm looking forward to just catching up with a bunch more, leading into some kind of end of the year events we've got coming. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty nice. So yeah, right now it's work, catching up on books, and Deathloop on PS5. That's just kind of what I'm focusing right now. And mixed in there, I'll pay a little bit of attention to my kids, but
you had to slide that in. You know that I'm having problems jumping on the PS, so you just had to slide that one in real quick, didn't you?
Hey, man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, at least you have one. I can't find one, man. Save my life.
Actually,
Well,
2.
Yeah, and you just had to throw that one in too. See, there you go.
Sorry, I had to put that out there. Although I did, before I picked up the second one, I offered to like 5 different people, hey, I've got a chance to pick up a second one. If you want, I'll pick it up, and then you just give me the money. And like at retail, it wasn't like crazy. And I reached out to like 5 different people that I knew, and I was on a clock, and nobody wanted to pull the trigger on it. I was like, okay. So then I just got a second one for myself so I could have it in the other room. So I tried to be nice.
Yeah, we know, man. Definitely, you did try to be nice. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that for now. But
I am a wonderful human being. You know?
Yo, so let me actually go in and address the chat real quick, just to make sure that they know we are here and we are here for them. So definitely we have my lady, my queen, the one and only Latoya T is in the building. She said Brendan flexing much. We got Fat Figs in the building.
Just true.
We got Tremble Dust. We got Tobar in the building. We got Mike Fayella. We got Bob Dylan with the super chat, $5. Let's make it a GIF-worthy night, y'all.
GIF. GIF.
I
GIF
know.
is a peanut butter.
I know, but I just say GIF because it just feels good. I don't like saying GIF because it gets on my nerves. Anyway, Mario not wearing pants. Prove it, Brendan.
Mario,
Don't
that's
prove
dangerous.
Yo,
Don't prove it.
don't prove it.
Don't prove it.
Don't ask me for something that you can't handle.
Yo, we got Brian Hepburn in the building. How you doing, man? Who else we got up in here? We got whoa. We got Joseph Mini Marco in the building. My man, the titties champion.
Giuseppe.
How you doing, bro? My man.
I'm sorry, did you say the titties champion?
Yes, the titties champ, bro. He's undefeated.
He's the titular champ.
At titties?
Yes, he's undefeated like titties. Anyway, we got him in the building all day, every day.
I'm sorry, wait, we can't just skip right past this. What constitutes victorious or defeated when it comes to titties?
Well,
It's a long story, but
it's a long story.
He's
He's
the
just
breast in the world.
he's the breast guy in the world, bro.
He's the
My
It's gonna be in
man.
the back of my fucking head all night.
He probably will, and he'll make his presence known. But that's my man, Titty Champ, Mr. Samarco, man. How you doing, man? Who else we got in the building? We got Funky Cold Santa building. How you doing, man? Let's see here, Kinky Finkster in the
No.
building, or Finkter.
Sphincter.
Okay, we got him in the building.
Sphincter.
Is his name? Big Collector in the building. How you doing, man? Who else we got here? Oh man, we got quite a few. We got Sire Dream. It's like good to have you here. We got the 6 Scale Mafia. We already know that in the building all day. Dave C is in the building tonight. Ben
Bob
Thomas.
Dylan, let's be real. This channel is very, very rarely going to be monetized.
Exactly, pretty much. Slabs and statues. When we got here, Jan Michael Jameer in the building. So yes, we got quite a few individuals in here tonight, man. I'm glad to see everybody. It's going to be an eventful evening. Really, like I said, it's a crazy discussion tonight because I just kind of wanted to go freelance, but we want to actually talk about just OP characters, like characters that are they too OP for the MCU? Is it possible? Is it possible that that's the reason why we will never see these particular characters? You never know. But we're going to actually touch on that tonight. So it is an interesting subject that we will definitely jump into. But first, before I do that, like I said, I try each week to pull up my pick on statue of the week or a piece of the week that I'm just in love with, that I just will get and I will have in hands. We kind of talked about this yesterday, Anthony, but I'm just bringing it in now because I love this piece, bro. I can't. It is what it is, and I just can't help
You're
it,
talking
bro.
about the Magneto's teased?
No, I'm talking
Oh,
about this
X23.
X23.
Yep.
If y'all know, listen, hold on. Before we do that, y'all listen, come on. We're talking about X23. This is the type of day it is, X23. I'm a super fan of X23 all day, every day. And this piece right here delivers. It is freaking amazing. This is from XM Studios. I cannot wait till this piece drops. It is beautiful. Like, it is simply amazing, man. I love this piece. They teased it. What? It was like, baby, what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and then they just dropped it like last week. At the end of the week. So, very happy to see this
How much
piece.
is it?
That's what I'm about to pull up right now because I actually just saw it. I have it up already. Give me a second here. We're gonna go in and take a
So
look
it's
at
premium format. It's like
Yeah. Yeah. So this piece
that's
right
probably gonna be,
now.
what, like 600 or
Now
something?
through them. Now this is basically through XM. You see the price there. So for us, it'll probably be a tad bit different.
Wait, was
Probably.
that in US? No.
Nah,
What is-
that's not.
What is SGD?
That's not for us. And I was trying to basically do the conversion, but it won't let me do it on the site. I tell you what, because
Where's
who else?
XM based?
Um, Let me see. I don't know if they're not Hong Kong, are they? I'm not really sure.
No, I don't.
XM,
Well, SGD. I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
Singapore. Isn't
So
it?
they are-
No.
they're-
Wait, maybe
are
I'm
they?
wrong.
Oh, it might be. They might be in Singapore.
They might. They
I'm
could
trying to
be.
That
remember.
makes sense.
Yeah, but the price. If anybody in the chat, if you've actually come across this statue, you know basically what the going price, U.S. price,
Yeah,
USD
Yeah,
Singapore.
price.
yeah. It is.
So-
It's Singapore.
What,
Yeah, Singapore.
1,200?
Yeah. So if we do the conversion, it's
So it's
probably
going to be about 885 ballpark.
880, about probably about that much. But this thing is beautiful, bro. An amazing piece. Look at that, man. Look at that. And then it actually does come with extra head sculpt that you can get with it. Look at that. That piece is gorgeous. This one right here, to me, in my opinion, outdoes the one that we actually got. And this, like I said, no disrespect. I like the one from Sideshow, but I think this one was better.
I was going to say, so this has a lot of similarities to a Sideshow piece when I look at it, in that I think that Sideshow, I give them shit for various things that I think they deserve it for, but like Sideshow does some really good statues when it's not an actor likeness that they have to try and nail. When it's a comic book, because like this, I don't want to say flat, but like it doesn't have like the face. We're not looking for like accurate like human like skin tone, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of what you get in like Hot Toys, or what you get in like the J&D stuff and the, Queen Studios, like those Wonder Woman busts and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have, like the Sideshow Daredevil pieces that, the facial work is basically the same as this, where it's a comic interpretation, so it doesn't have to be that perfect like skin tone of like an actual human actor. And I think that's where Sideshow does really well, when they focus on that and not trying to do like a really good likeness like the Cara Dune, or like the what is it, the Moff Gideon that just looks like a melted candle. So this reminds me a lot of that, but I think where this kind of succeeds a little bit more than what Sideshow does, and I think that's where like the price is coming to be a little different. One is the base, but two, it's the shading and the texture on her suit, especially in the blues. Like it's not just a flat kind of like one shade of blue. Like you really feel that kind of the gradation and the texture in there. Something that that Sideshow can't do it. It's just I don't think they've hit this kind of level, and I think that's where the price difference comes in. And this thing is a beauty.
Yeah, this thing is. Vinny, what you think about this piece, bro?
I like the head sculpt without the mask even better. So it's definitely an amazing piece. And he has a good point about when they're, you're not held to the expectations of the character likeness of actor versus just. I mean, that tends to be some of my favorite statues that I've seen too, where you're not, tied to trying to worry about how much it looks like an actor versus just the quality of the piece itself. So they got to focus on the costume and those type of details versus, trying to make sure that it looks like, actor X, and, X-23 is definitely an incredible character. It's one of those characters that the idea was really easy to fumble and be hokey, and she's from the comics to the film version of her as a kid, they've hit the ball out the park on every time that they try to translate it to comic or screen. So now we see the statue too.
Did you
Hell
guys
yeah.
pick this up? Did anybody pre-order it?
Well, I'm actually because I just now like seeing it's through Spec Fiction, so I'm gonna actually try to order it through them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to get this piece to them because it just makes so. Come on, man, I'm an X23.
You got to go
Vince,
masked on the head sculpt on the portrait though, right? For display, you got to go masked.
the thing is, I'll probably do both. I'll take pictures with both, but on the display, I'll
You know what
probably
you
do
should do?
mask.
You just buy two, and then you
Hell
can
no.
do it one and one.
Nah, I'm not doing that. That ain't gonna work. You know the missus ain't gonna
I
allow
got
that.
you to do that with the Alita Battle Angel 1/6, but
Yeah, not this. Shout out to Ryan in the building. Comes through in the clutch, Mr. Enabler himself. Yes, Ryan is the
Hey,
enabler.
what's up,
Let me
man?
tell you a story about it. And I told this same story yesterday. I'm going to tell it today because it's my show. And on top of that, he's here tonight. So I'm going to tell all of y'all what happened.
Hold-
So, Ron-
before you jump into actually, Bob Dylan just asked a good question that
What's up?
that hopefully you know. Is the do you get both sculpts, or is it like the alternate sculpt is with like the like deluxe or something?
there's a deluxe version and a regular version
So you have to get
So-
the deluxe to get both head
to
sculpts.
get both head sculpts.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go with story time.
So here we go, Ryan. So basically, the living dream, definitely. So yeah, he hits me up. What was this? I think it was Friday. He hit me up. He was like, "Yo, I'm alive." I said, "I'm so glad to hear that you are alive." And I said, "You came at the most needed time." And he was like, "Hey, what's up?" I said, "So check it out. What do you prefer? What do you think I should do? Do you think I should get the Coruscant Guard and the Green Vigilante, or should I just get two Coruscant Guards?" He was like, well, guards. That's just basically where I'm at. I was like, all right, cool. So I thought it would end it right there. He was like, but
You need to.
the Green Vigilante,
You need
you'd need that. And I was like, so are you trying to say that I need all three? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? He's like, no, I was just calling to tell you that I was alive. Like straight up, that's all. But long story short, I got both the guards and the Green Vigilante that will be here by the end of the week. So
And Ryan, he asked you that question with the express purpose of you convincing him to get both so that he could then blame you for it, enabling him. He was 100% going to be getting it.
Yeah.
You were.
Well,
because you
I
have
told him
all
that.
the other DC. You have Nightwing and Robin and Batwoman and all the rest coming. You damn well know you were not going to pass up on that Green Vigilante. Don't even say.
yeah, well, like I said, I told him at the end of the day, once the
Oh, yeah,
conversation
it's a trap.
ended, I told him at the end of the day, like, yeah, I'm going to blame you. So, people will know that you are the blame. Even if Toya asked me, I'm just going to say, Ryan did it. You know what I mean? He told me to do it. He came back with a vengeance. He was down for a while. And he just came back and was like, yeah, let's do this.
You
So
remember
anyway,
that Toya is in the chat and
Yeah, I know.
heard you just admit that shit.
she'll still blame him. Anyway, Anthony, what you think about this piece, bro?
Yeah, I think this is actually going to be one of the first. Well, other than my Mythos statues, it's been a minute, right? So this is probably gonna be the first one I'm gonna buy in a while, like statue wise, because, like Vinny was saying, it's awesome that she's not an actress, right? So they're like, they can make this comic book style and not have this like representation of the movies. So
It
that
frees
heads-
up the artist.
yeah, exactly. And I would rock it unmasked straight up because I got my
Yeah.
old
I think the
Wolverine
unmasked is
statue
better.
and she would fit perfect with him. But
Yeah.
I would swap it off and on. But I really, really like that sculpt, man.
Which Mythos statues do you have?
The Emperor and Ventress. I'm just missing Maul.
Get that Maul.
Oh,
I
there's
know.
some
Yeah,
older
they're
ones
both
too.
right there. But out of the recent ones, like
Yeah,
I didn't.
so I didn't get the Emperor. I passed on that one. I've got Maul and Ventress, but then I have the original Mythos Vader.
Dude, that's
That
the one
was
I wanted.
That was actually the first statue that I ever bought.
That statue is sick, man.
It's amazing.
If anybody hasn't seen that thing,
Yeah, that's one of my graphics. I've been trying to track that down for a minute.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
not
just
cheap.
lucky. It literally was like right when I got into like statues. That was the first one that I bought,
Oh, nice.
and
So it's just like nice and available retail. Like,
dude, it was it was less than a goddamn Iron Man hot toy. Like I got to go back and look, but I think it was like 350 when I
Mm-hmm.
bought it retail.
damn. Yeah, that's
350.
yeah.
Hey Mario, look, listen,
Hell
bro.
yeah, man.
I
That's badass.
understand this, man. Listen, Mario, and we're talking to Mario, the great Mario Cortez over there at Collectors Weekly. My man, my co-host for, of course, Uncivilized Scoundrels. Normally on Thursday nights, we'll be back the following Thursday, right before Comic Con. Actually, the day of Comic Con, so we'll be back that day. But yeah, Mario, man, I get it, bro. But at the same time, man, like to me, it's a better. I have to have one in my collection, and if I had to choose between this one and Sideshow's version,
Oh, this
this
one
one
all
sells
day.
it all day for
But
me.
Yeah, it
Mario
looks
brings up a
amazing.
good point though. If they're gonna do two portraits, man, like make the masked portrait like the kind of like battle cry, like ferocious, like give me a little bit of rage there. If you're gonna give both masked and unmasked, make that masked one fucking badass. Like instead of having the exact same expression on both of them. I wasn't thinking about that, but I think Mario's right there.
Yeah, I'm still getting it.
It's still gorgeous. I'm not saying it's like don't buy it because of that. It is just an odd choice to me. I'm kind of wondering why they went that route.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I got my X-Force Wolverines like that. You know, I don't know if you saw that one. There's an older God, I don't remember who made it. It's a 6-scale statue of X-Force Wolverine. He's got the swappable heads too. So when he's unmasked, he's like angry and like,
Yeah.
super, you know what I mean? And then the mask is more of a neutral. So yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah. Still getting it. All right, so listen. What we're going to do, like I said, we're going to jump right into the show itself and the reason why we're here. We are here to talk about OP. Okay, so we're talking about OP. We're talking about Omega level characters in Marvel. Not DC. We're going to tackle Marvel this time. Omega level characters.
I wore the wrong shirt tonight. But
You did.
Yeah,
We're
you
going to
did.
tackle the Omega level characters. Vinny, you wore the right shirt for a particular reason. Exactly. I understand why. But we're going to start with pretty much one of my favorite characters and one character that I literally have to and want to basically see in the MCU, hands down. I don't know if that will eventually see this character. They'll eventually see this character. I don't know. I mean, it was hinted in WandaVision. We thought that this would have been probably one of the characters that we would actually seen, but we didn't. Of course, for a reason, but I mean, whatever. I mean, it opens up the realm of possibility when it comes to this character, and we may actually see it. And this is none other than my man, Adam Brashear himself, Blue Marvel. One of my favorite characters, hands down, just not only just because of his power scale, but his intelligence. The level of intelligence that this character, has. On top of that, one of the characters that will go toe to toe with the Hawk easily, with no pressure. So yeah, one of my favorites of all time. I love this character. My man Vinny, we have a connection with this character, bro, in a sense of his history. I know who you wanted. Actually, you wanted this character to be. Who you wanted him to, or you wanted to play him on screen. But what you think about my man Adam, bro?
Yeah, I love that they finally found a really good place for him when they put him in that Ultimates team. That was such a strong book with amazing art and great story, and one of the few times where a real big powerhouse mixed up team really worked and gave a well-rounded version of a team where they were able to do some really fun stuff with Thanos and Galactus, and it really shed some light onto possible future plans that Marvel might be able to pull off from power scaling front. They really hit it out of the park with that book, and I as we've talked about plenty of times, I really want to see Dennis Haysbert play this character. He
Yeah.
is the embodiment of if you look at him, everything about not just his physical appearance, but the way Dennis carries himself. He carries himself just a weight to him, like a vet, and
He's just very
like
stoic and has that commanding
Yeah.
presence.
perfect word, just
President
stoic and
Palmer, man.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jack
Yeah.
Bauer, man.
I
Yeah.
mean, 24 is my favorite show of all time, and he was just
Yo, I'm with you. I'm with you.
it is just such
One
a
of the
good show.
tops.
And like, so I would love to see him in that role. I think he'd be just stellar, and I would love to.
Yeah.
And Blue Marvel is just such an amazing character, and
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
something that I hope that we get to see. I know that it's a possibility. His name has been thrown around a lot for the past couple of years, and I don't think that's a mistake. I think they're trying to kind of see how
Just plant some
fans react.
seeds and
I feel like Marvel does that a lot. Disney does. Whoever is behind it. I feel like there's a lot of shot in the dark articles that you see sometimes that are really just testers to see how
Yeah.
people react to it. And I feel like every time his name comes up, people are like, "Oh, okay, that would be awesome." I think
Hmm.
that's it. I mean,
Hmm.
there's a lot of talk of who's going to eventually really be Marvel's answer to Superman, whether it's going to be Hyperion or if Captain Marvel
Hmm.
will be it, because it's really not Thor. It's such a different character, so it's really like,
Could be
Mhm.
Sentry.
are they going to do Sentry? That's always the name thrown around. Going to do
Yeah.
Sentry? They're going to do Hyperion, and it might be door number 3. It might be Blue Marvel.
Yeah, it could be highly possible. Before I jump into it with you, Anthony, I just want to address a couple things real quick. We have S Beam with the super sticker, man. Thank you for that $2 super sticker. So I do appreciate that. We also have in the building. Actually gives us actually a super sticker at 99 cents, and then we have Lynch Design, the winner of that Grogu and the co-pilot chair. $19.99 super chat, man. Thank you. A little late tonight. Got to support the homies. Hit the like if you haven't already. Definitely hit the like button. Subscribe and share. Is always prepared for the next adventure. Hey, we got a single songwriter in the building, man. Love to have you here. Thank you for that, bro. But yeah, Adam Brashear, man. Anthony, I know you're. Come on, man. You're a comic head, so you definitely are familiar with Anthony. I mean, I'm Adam Brashear, bro. And just his power scale, and just like the storyline, like his entry was just mainly interesting. Like just the backstory on this character was super interesting. We're talking about. And I think that it came. There were always references to this character, his scale, and then it was actually like a really touchy subject matter because they were like, okay, you're trying to, again, like Vinny said, the answer to Superman. Are we trying to bring this character in as an answer to Superman? And also, there were always questions about his ethnicity. And people
Right, yeah.
basically one of the reasons why he wore that mask is because he concealed his identity because he knew him being a black superhero at that time was very and highly controversial. So no one knew who he was for a while before he took off that mask. You know what I mean? So it was a highly controversial character, but at the same time, very, very highly important to the culture, man. What you think about this dude, man?
I agree. And I agree with what you were saying earlier too. Like I like him. I didn't know a whole lot about him though. You know what I mean? But what I did read, I did like the fact that he's like super smart.
Yes.
Because I remember reading. He was kind of peppered in a lot of Fantastic Four stuff, and I remember that where he's like equal to Doom, like intelligent wise. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool that he was a Marine. So like I think he's cool. And Dennis Haysbert, if he was a MCU character,
Yeah.
that would be the way to go. Like
That definitely would be the
sure,
way to go.
for sure.
When Vinny said it to me before, I was like, really? Could I see that? But then I was like, damn, now I can't unsee it. Yeah, I can't. Like, I just can't unsee it. Like, it would be the perfect rendition, especially due to age. But then again, it's like, if you know the history of him and Monica Rambeau, it's like, all right, could I see that on screen? Yeah, I could possibly see it on screen. If they do it right, you can definitely possibly see that. But Brendan, man, like, what you think about the character, bro?
The funny thing is, if you asked me like 4 or 5 years ago if I thought there was any chance that we'd see him in the MCU, I'd be like, no, nah. But Marvel has really gone hard in the paint on trying to make sure that they're showing a diverse array of characters, both in terms of ethnicity and gender, and just type of like hero and villain, like characters, like the actual, variety that we're getting, where it's not just, okay, we're just going to recycle the same. I mean, again, think back to, when we're in the early stages of the MCU, who the hell thought we were going to get the Eternals
Yeah.
and Shang-Chi
Yeah.
and, Ms. Marvel?
Yes.
It's so with all of those, and given the fact that the door is wide open for these characters that are lesser known to these wider audiences to come in and have a big impact, like again the the Eternals and Shang-Chi and stuff, I absolutely think the door is open. And again, especially when we've got Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And the foundation is there for him to make an entrance. So I absolutely love it. The other thing that you got to remember too is that we just lost one of the big brains of the MCU in Tony Stark, right?
Yeah.
We have Banner.
Yeah.
But until they introduce Reed Richards, I mean, I guess, yes, you could say we've got Hank Pym, but Michael Douglas is also, pushing 80, I think, and they're not going to be able to rely on him, for a major MCU role in the next 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So until we get Reed Richards in there, we really only have that kind of one like big brain that I can think of in Banner right now. So having something open for a guy like this, I think is huge, especially given all the kind of multiverse and time travel stuff that we're looking at in this next phase. So I definitely think that the door's open for a character like this. I think it would be really, really cool to bring somebody like this character in. Blue Marvel. I mean, he's a badass and relatively unknown character to people who aren't really, neck deep into the comics. So that and the Dennis Haysbert, man, abso-goddamn-lutely. That's all I can see now when I look at this character is Dennis Haysbert, and I'll tell you, he's been in two of my favorite TV and film properties of all time. One is as President Palmer in 24, and then way back in the day, he was also a small role but important and heartfelt in my favorite movie of all time. He was the driver in Heat, Michael Mann movie with Pacino and De Niro back in the day. All right. He's the one who just got paroled, and he's being shafted by his boss in this diner, who knows that he can't say anything because he's an ex-con and he'll get booted back. Man, his story, as short-lived in that movie as it was, I mean, he is such a damn fine actor.
Yeah.
So having him in that role, like, now I really want to see.
Yeah. Well, he was also in the unit
in the MCU.
I don't know if you saw the unit, but he was in there too. He was Snake Doctor.
He was on CBS for a couple of years when he was like that Spec Ops team leader.
Yeah, Snake Doctor. That was his call sign. Like, I love the unit too, man.
I mean, he's big. He's physically imposing. He's got that voice that just commands attention and respect. And yeah, man, I think he would be absolutely amazing in this role. And to see him go up with some of the other characters in the MCU, but also to see like so many major characters of color, if they were to bring him in, that are really playing pivotal roles in the MCU right now, because that that they're, I don't know what the contract work is right now, but they're definitely going to be using Nick Fury, I think, a fair amount in this upcoming phase. So you got Nick Fury, you've got Sam Wilson. If you have him in the mix, I think, and then, however they proceed with Black Panther, I think this is a really, really cool time because you're going to have a lot of diversity in terms of
Yeah.
color and gender for characters, and a whole new generation of kids coming up and watching these movies
Mm-hmm.
are going to have the opportunity to, whatever color creed they are, they're going to see people in the MCU that look like they do. And that is, I think, going to get more kids into going into the comics and reading the comics and boosting that side of the industry up even more. And it just goes full circle. So yeah, man,
Yeah.
I think bringing him in would be a great opportunity.
You know what? Let me blow on this man because he was on fire. Let me blow on him, bro. Like this dude was on fire. That's a drop the mic moment, bro. But nah, that's seriously like, all seriousness. Yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. It's an opportunity to bridge that gap. I mean, we've pretty much. Representation has always been an issue, and I'm glad to see that Marvel, is taking those rings and saying, look, you know what, let's open that door, especially, considering the simple fact that this is what Stan Lee intended in the very beginning.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely glad to see that that we're finally getting, that type of representation, in the comic book realm. I'm very, very, very super, super, super happy that we get a chance to see that. My next character is a wild card. A character that pretty much a lot of people don't know anything about, but this dude is Omega level. He is Omega level, and he is powerful. Not from a known galaxy, not from actually our known realm, but he is, I want to say, pretty much an embodiment of sheer will, strength, level of intelligence, and he just doesn't back down for nobody, and he's a beast. And
Dude,
that's
I'm in a
none other
comic
than
book.
my man Gladiator from the Shi'ar Empire. Yo, this dude is a beast.
Yeah, no.
He's
Yeah,
a
I mean, he's
beast.
basically that's the Superman we're looking at.
Yeah,
Basically, I mean,
it
you
is.
know, like,
It is.
he's a beast, man, and
He's
they're
a
going,
beast.
man, maybe, man, like, and what you were saying is like, just to chime in, like, because we're getting into all this galactic side of the MCU now,
Yeah.
like especially with the early Guardians and stuff, and now we're getting Celestials and everything. It's like,
Yeah.
can we get it? I mean, are we gonna have something like
100%.
this? Or are we gonna get like the well, I don't want to confuse myself. I'm not thinking about D&D, but aren't they the Starjammers?
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. I was thinking something out of Dungeons and Dragons Tales. Like, which one was it? I forget. But like, yeah, all the space stuff, man. I am like,
And the thing is, like I said, I mean, if you followed it, even basically the whole Vulcan run, what was it? The damn, I forget the name of the actual book. Vulcan, when he actually took over the Shi'ar Empire. Once he raised, we'll actually get into his story a little bit later. But when both him and Gladiator went toe to toe, it was just like earth shattering, bro. Like literally. Yeah, he's basically, and I brought him up because, like I said, he's a little known character. Not too many people really talk about it. But this character is incredible. Like, he is a beast. And a simple fact that the only way that you can stop him, you're talking about a character that can match your strength. He can match your ability. He can summon any type of ability that he actually wants at sheer will. And the only way that you can stop him is breaking his will, which has only been done is, his willpower, because he's that arrogant and he knows what he can do. That strong. I mean, if you can basically blow off a punch from the Hawk and then get hit back to Earth, that's incredible, bro. Like, that's like straight up. So yeah, like we're talking about OP. Vinny, what's up, bro?
I think the willpower like quirk is one of the most interesting weaknesses of a character that they kind of borrow from the Lanterns, of course, because Deathstroke once stopped Green Lantern by grabbing his hand and he said, "I always wanted to test this," and then just basically broke his will, and the ring was less effective. And that's the only type of psychological warfare as a method of battling him that is truly effective outside of being completely overpowering him. But there's very, very, very few who can outpower him, so you have to kind of rely on outwitting him, which is also very difficult. He's a monster. He's one of the very few Superman level characters that are way back in the day. Like a lot, they created a lot of Superman technology
Trust me,
in
bro.
modern history. But back in the day, Gladiator was around doing this type of stuff, and he's still after all this time. I feel like just massively underused, and it's odd too because he has such an interesting character design, such an interesting story, such an interesting power set and weakness, and I really there's only so many like impactful gladiator stories. I feel like there's so much untapped potential for him. I feel
Hmm.
like that's the perfect type of character that Feige would love to sink his teeth into. Somebody who's
Yeah,
an awesome character
definitely.
but underused in the comics.
Hmm.
So I think that's what Feige like. It's kind of drawn to like these interesting characters that were just never quite realized in the comics that they can pull into the MCU without the weight of the universal um, fanfare that some of the more popular characters have of what the fans
Hmm.
expect those characters to be on screen. So when you see
Yeah,
like Blue Marvel or Gladiator on screen, you're gonna have a sect of fans who know everything about them and what to expect, and then you're gonna have other people who are it's new to them, and
yeah,
they go with whatever Marvel tweaks without being too like upset about them changing something that's like that they've read. Like you bring Wolverine or Magneto or on the screen, they know exactly how it should be, and if it's any different, they're gonna have a fit. But if you tweak something on Gladiator or Blue Marvel, it no one's gonna, not many people are gonna even notice.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Brendan, bro, what you think, man?
I just the possibility of this is cool. And again, this is another one that a lot of people would, or not a lot of people, because there are not a lot of people that are really big MCU fans necessarily know much about him or about the Shi'ar for that matter. But the thing that I like about this, and again, this is one that I would have a couple of years ago, I'd have been like, no way in hell. But
Hmm.
Kevin Feige likes to mix it up, and the truth is, we've seen it hasn't all been good. Some of it's been great, some of it's been straight doo doo stew. But we've seen a lot of X-Men stories in the Fox universe. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't think Kevin Feige wants to do something right out the gate with mutants and with the X-Men that we've already seen a version of, good or bad,
yeah, yeah,
um, you know, on screen. I think he wants to hit with something new. And the X Men have a long and storied history with the Shi'ar Empire
yeah, definitely.
uh, that we've never seen on screen.
Yeah,
So I think that makes me think that there is a better than average chance that we might. I'm not saying right out the gate, it might be, phase five.
hmm,
But given the galactic nature of the MCU, that they're with the Guardians and the Marvels and bringing in Fantastic Four and all that, and then you've got the Eternals and whatnot. Um, I really do think that there's a good chance that we see the Shi'ar Empire at some point in the next 5 years.
yeah.
And if we do, I mean, you can't leave them out.
No, you can't. It just
So,
makes too much sense to actually. I mean, and like you said, it would be a good entry to actually have him in.
and the thing is, they can start sowing the seeds for that now
Hmm.
with all the galactic elements, of the MCU as it is right now.
Hmm.
And then have that be a big part of the X-Men coming, because like I said, we know Kevin Feige is not gonna like immediately hit the ground running with, all right, we're gonna work again towards like the third or fourth time that we see the Phoenix Saga on screen. Like I think
Hmm.
that's the furthest thing from what he wants right now. And Days of Future Past was actually done really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were changes, but for what they were working with in
Right.
the world that they created, Days of Future Past was done very well. X-Men First Class was done well. Like, so yeah, they had some definite stumbles in there. But I do think that he's going to try and go for something that's just completely beyond what we've what we've seen so far.
Definitely.
And if you're gonna do that, I think this is a damn good way to start. So I'm hopeful that we do see him.
Yeah, I think, you know what I mean. It makes, to me, when I think about it, it just makes perfectly good sense to have them there, especially if they're treading around. And you know what? To be quite honest, they've already assigned. Who knows though? If I keep forgetting his name. Guardians of the Galaxy director. What's his name?
James Gunn.
James Gunn.
Yeah.
James Gunn has basically been assigned, partially with, the galactic aspect of, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So who knows if, who knows? We might, even tread along those lines. It could be, a lot of things that they're preparing right now could be leading up to this. Somebody else actually said, please, no Phoenix. I'd hate to just basically agree with that because, I mean, I'm not saying no. The thing is, the Phoenix is going to make its appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You can't deny that, but it's how they do it. If they don't tread along that same narrative that we've actually seen, and they just do it in a totally different way and make it an event, because when you're talking about the Phoenix Saga, you're talking about an event. An all-out event.
I mean, it's one of the all-time greatest comic arcs
exactly
ever done. But the thing is, you have to build to it so it means something. If you just jump right into it, right out the gate, it's not going to work. You have to build so people actually give a shit about Jean and about Cyclops. And about Wolverine's role in that. You have to actually make the stakes matter because you give a shit about the characters, and they're looking at it from the point of, the OG like comic fans like us, we do.
Yeah.
But with any new iteration of a character, they've got to please us, but they also have to bring in people who have no idea who these characters are. Or their only knowledge of them is the Fox movies. Yeah. They've got to bring them in. They've got to make them care. One of the biggest hurdles that the MCU has is Wolverine. Mm-hmm. It is coming up with a new version of Wolverine. So then the question is, do you not do... Now, Wolverine wasn't an original X-Men. He didn't come in until much later. So do you not do Wolverine to give yourself some distance from Hugh Jackman? Mm-hmm. Or do they try and do Wolverine right away? I think stay away from Wolverine for a little bit.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that they should. I think that they should especially build along the OG characters. The ones that we actually, Bobby Drake, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Hank, you know what I mean? Just basically build along them. Stay within that realm for right now.
This isn't DC running headfirst into the wall. Kevin Feige's going to slow play it. He's going to take his time, put all of the pieces on the board in the order that he wants. So I'm confident of that. And that's why, like I said, I'm not really, like, I love the Phoenix Saga. I don't want them to just, like, dive right into it because it's been done. I want something that I knew that I haven't seen on screen at all. I'm down for them doing Phoenix Saga at some point. Phase 5, at, like, end of Phase 5 or something. Like, make that the event. For the whole MCU or something like that. But I don't want them to rush into that. Give us some fresh stuff. That's why I think, the galactic side of it, I want to see the Shi'ar Empire. I want to see Krakoa and things like that. So we'll see what they do, but just don't do this. I don't want to see the same, like, all right, well, we're up against Magneto again, like, let's, build these characters and give us something that we haven't seen. I personally would fucking love to see Mr. Sinister.
Oh yeah, and I think we will.
OG favorite villains.
I definitely think we will
to see Mr. Sinister and Omega Red eventually when Wolverine is in.
Yeah, I definitely think we will.
That's the problem though with X-Men, and I'm not a fan of the Fox movies, but I understood how things were going lately, where they really are like different universes, like, obviously because one's Fox and one's Marvel, but like when you start bringing in X-Men, I'm looking at like 30 plus years of movies easy that are just X-Men, to where it's just going to overshadow MCU stuff. You know what I mean? There's just so much content that I'm like, how are you guys really gonna pull this off? Are
There's
you gonna
so many characters, bro. So
dude,
many.
it's in or in storylines too.
Yeah.
Just all the cosmic stuff hitting space. You know, the origins, you know, the beginning of the teachings of the X-Men, then maybe later Avengers versus X-Men. There's all these different arcs that they
Please
can
don't
do.
shit all over Cyclops again.
I
I
know.
know.
I'm
Do it.
just
Don't do
like,
that.
Don't do
dude,
it.
it's so. I'm like super stoked, but I don't know. I'm trusting that they're gonna do it right, you know.
Yeah.
But it's
So
gonna be too much.
yeah, since we're in the X-Men realm, because I'm saving one for Vinny, because I want Vinny to run with this one particular character, but not right now. We'll get to that character. There's a reason why he's wearing that shirt, so I'm gonna give him a run on that. You know, because it's pretty much one of his favorites. But I want to run with one of my favorites again. And since we're basically in the X-Men realm, and I know my girl is watching, and this is pretty much one of her favorite characters of all times. OP, Omega level. I mean, you just got to call it the way you see it, Storm. Come on, man. All day, every day.
Yeah, she
We
is.
need to actually, I mean, if you're going to do it right. If you're going to bring this character in, bring her in right. You know, I know we talked about just mainly just focusing on just the core four, like the original. We want to focus on those particular characters, you know, and I think that they should. But at the same time, if you're going to do it, if you're going to do us a Storm, no offense to Holly Berry, but the skin was a little bit too light for me, number one. And they basically played it too cautious with the character. Storm's a beast, and she commands so much attention. So if you're going to do her right. Give her some, you know, someone has to play this character in the right way. But when we talk about Omega level, yo, she is incredibly powerful. If you've actually read the latest run of Powers of X, House of X, yo, she ain't to be F with, bro. Like straight up. You know, she's a beast. Someone in here would say, Joe, really? Storm Omega level? Yes, read your comics.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
She's
like for real,
super
for real.
OP.
So-
Vinny, what were you going to say?
Omega level, and for anyone who doesn't know, basically Omega level actually has a definition in Marvel, and basically that means that there's no definable limit to their power, and
Mhm.
that usually goes hand in hand with being able to be on a planetary destruction level. Storm can even manipulate the weather on Earth from space, so she could get in a spaceship and literally cause a Noah's Ark type of event. She can literally on a god level scale wipe
Mhm.
out the planet with planetary destruction
Mhm.
weather event. So
Mhm.
that is why she's in the classification of an omega level. So that doesn't necessarily put you in a, you know, so that is why she's an omega level. So she could affect and destroy the planet with her powers.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
that is something that has kind of been scaled up a bit in the comics that we obviously didn't see in the X-Men films, but what we see in the X-Men films is kind of like the very reverse of that, where she was basically just lightning bolt here, lightning bolt there. The worst example would be the Apocalypse travesty, where she's shooting lightning bolts from her hands like Palpatine, which doesn't even make sense. She controls the weather. She doesn't.
Right, she controls weather. Yeah.
She doesn't channel the weather. She controls the weather. So she's not going to shoot snow at you from her fingertips. She's going to put you in the blizzard. So she's definitely an Omega level mutant, and she's
Yeah.
one of the very first characters that they put in that classification, which is amazing. I agree completely with the casting and the you know, the dedication and seriousness that they put into her character has just been pretty much a joke. And I would love to see them actually take that character seriously on screen. It's a huge opportunity for Feige and Disney and Marvel to fix that and make it right. It's only gotten worse as the Fox films went on. So I would love to see a really proper representation of Storm and just how powerful she can be and is in the comics. And of course, with all these Omega level characters, there's going to be some nerf, and we're not going to see them at quite their level, but she's capable of just so much power, and I would love to see that translated on screen. After all these years, we deserve it.
Definitely. And the thing is, it's like, and that's like you said, nerfing. You know, we know that, you know, Fox, they nerfed the characters, bro. They nerfed pretty much every character that we actually seen. And I don't know, again, we're talking about Bryan Singer. I don't care what anybody says. I have a hate relationship when it comes to him and what he actually did with these characters, bro. Because you don't go on that. You don't actually have an entire wheelhouse to play with, and you don't give it its just due. You know what I mean? You don't. That's just something that I don't think you would actually do. Especially someone on this particular character. Anthony, what you think about this, bro?
Dude, I think, well, you know what, I will say this, because I don't like, as I said, I don't like any of the Fox movies. I did like her. I like the character in Apocalypse, though. I liked the actress, and I like the outfit. That I was like, when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, we're kind of getting some of the art direction right, but yeah, they don't. The thing is even now in MCU, they have to they nerf a lot of characters, you know, because when we read comics, we're like, yeah, everything's like, they're so godlike, right? So how do you tone it down? Like Scarlet Witch, for example, you know what I mean? They had to totally tone her down a bit, but if they have to bring her in, but I kind of agree with what you were saying earlier, like they need to bring in just the original X-Men first, and then kind of lead into like giant size, where they can introduce Storm and Wolverine, Colossus, you know, Nightcrawler. But I think, oh man, every X-Men's amazing, dude, and she's awesome. And like you and Vinny was saying, we deserve a good Storm. Like we haven't had anything. They were just they're jokes of characters, really. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, if you guys enjoyed those movies, but yeah.
Nah, it was it. Shout out to Luminar 843. She said, I want to see, and that's for the super chat as well, 499. Thank you for that. I want to see a what if Storm got the powers of Phoenix. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh man. I mean, come on. That's molecular manipulation on such a large scale. But Mr. Mike Drop himself, Brendan, which you before we hold on. Hold on. Where's it at? Hold on.
I'm surprised he hasn't brought up the pictures of the premium format statue yet.
I won't. I'm just going to bring this in first. This is an Alex Ross piece. This was blessed to me by Brendan himself. Amazing piece. I'm never taking it out. I'm not going to touch this fucker.
You gotta get it framed.
You got to get it framed. So this is an amazing book. But Brendan, because we talk about Storm pretty much a lot, bro. It's been pretty much one of the characters that we, have really, really been close to. So what you think, bro?
Man, I absolutely love Storm. I loved back in the day when there was the original iterations of the blue and gold teams back in the 90s, and she led the gold team when Cyclops led the blue team. Again, that was a big moment to have a black woman leading the X-Men, and it wasn't like, like those teams were equal, and the gold team was badass. And Storm is such a cool character. She has so much rich history, and she's absolutely badass. She's had some of the most amazing looks, like style wise, and like the art that they've done for her has been phenomenal. As far as it's absolutely Omega level, like without question. It's like I mean, Storm. I mean, Jesus Christ. She had the power of Thor for a hot minute there too. So she's absolutely amazing. I think it's hard. I kind of feel like I can't. I feel like I might want them to cast an unknown for her when we see her in the MCU, because I can't really think of too many actresses that I'm like, that really fits the bill for her. There are tons of leading lady, black actresses in Hollywood that are all really good, but I'm having trouble seeing any one of them as her, except she's not really considered a leading lady, but the one that I would actually be like, oh man, I think she could be a really good Storm, isn't going to happen because she played Io in Falcon and Winter Soldier and Black Panther.
Yeah.
Okay? She could be an amazing Storm.
Yeah.
I would love that casting. But we already have her in the MCU.
There's one that I'm Yeah, keep going, keep going.
So that's why like I had a hard time because I thought she could absolutely crush that character, and I'm trying to think, and there's so many other actresses that I really like. Taraji Henson is another one that I was like thinking about, but I was like, I just don't think she has the right look for. So yeah, it's a hard one to cast, and nobody is springing to mind right now. So that's why I'm kind of leaning toward, them casting an unknown for her. But I've been such a huge fan of Storm as a character for a long, long time, and I mean, she's so badass that even when she was married to Black Panther, she did not play second fiddle to Black Panther. It was not, or the Black Panther and then his wife is Storm, eye candy or trophy wife, or no.
Yeah.
Like Storm that was still 100% badass even
Hell
when
yeah.
she was married to Black Panther.
Hell yeah.
And I liked that wasn't like a way that like she was diminished at all.
Hell yeah.
If anything, I think that she elevated Black Panther in terms of what people saw him as in the comics. So yeah, I absolutely love the character. I can't wait to see her in the MCU. And hopefully it's, I think there are a lot of characters that didn't get their just due in the Fox movies. But when it comes to the X-Men, I think you got to start with those heavy hitters, those icons, the ones that really the teams were built around. And to me, those are the people like Cyclops and Storm that did not get their just due in the Fox universe and need it in the MCU. And I mean, Cyclops is also Omega level too. So those two are big characters for me that I hope we get a better run for.
The woman who definitely I would love, really, 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 really love to see play. I'm going to bring her up here. That I would really love to see play Storm in the MCU. I've been saying this for a long time. Yeti Picard from American Gods, bro. I literally, when I see her, every time I see her, I see Storm. Just from her mannerism, her strength.
Okay.
Like every time I see this woman, I see Storm, bro. Like she is like, let me bring this one up. And this one right here, this image, every time I see it, I'm just like, yo, like she just owns the screen just with her personality, not just with the beauty itself, but just the way she carries herself on screen. Like, if you haven't seen American Gods, watch that show. But yo, like when I see this right here, I see Storm all day. White, you give her, but she's yeah, bro. Like
okay,
she is.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
Yateed is incredible to the point. Yo, I fan casted her, and I actually created a picture of her, a digitally enhanced picture of her around Storm, and I tugged her in it, and she put it up on Twitter. She's been showing it around. Oh, yeah. Like literally, I've been pushing for them to actually have this character, and not saying that they will, but she's been getting in shape too. She's really been. If you follow her on Instagram, she's been getting in mad shape. So. That, like, again, that's been one of my biggest choices to basically play the character. I can see it every day, all day. Here's hoping that we could actually get a good, solid Storm. I don't know. Again, like I said, we are talking about but again, you know what? In Feige, I trust. I'm just going to tell you. I'll just say that, and he has good people behind it that will cast. Based on, I mean, come on, like, look what they did to Shang-Chi, bro. Like, I thought that was brilliant. So I have no doubt. The next character, if you don't know this character, I don't know. Anybody who's basically a really true comic book fan knows that Hyperion, whether it's Lord Hyperion, God Hyperion, he's come on, man. Like, literally, his power scale is, I think he's beyond Omega level. And I don't think that with him we would necessarily see Hyperion. In my opinion, if they bring him in right. But as of right now, I don't think we're going to see him anytime soon. Vinny, what you think, bro?
I wasn't too familiar with the old school Hyperion. I love the reboot that they did with Gary Frank with Squadron Supreme. That was
Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah,
I mean, Gary Frank
yeah,
is up there in my top 5, maybe even top 3 sometimes favorite artists, and his run on that was just incredible. It gave just a beautiful kind, insight of like what really would happen if a Superman landed here and that type of thing, where we would absolutely raise him to be a weapon for the government. And the the story arc is great. Personally, I don't. I just don't see them using Hyperion for
no,
their Superman in MCU. I just feel like he's just a little bit too on the nose, and there's other options that have like a cool twist that Hyperion really doesn't have.
yeah,
That aside, he's awesome. I mean, he's awesome reading the comics. There's so many different amazing feats that he's had in the comics, and he's such a cool character. It's just a little bit. They'd have to they'd have to like instill some differences in him on in the script to give it enough of a twist or change on their own. But
yeah,
from a comic standpoint, he's just a little bit too close to being like on the nose carbon copy. But I
yeah,
still he's still a great character, and it's still fun to read Hyperion in Marvel because both companies have characters that are like the other guys, and it's cool.
Yeah, they do.
Those characters infused in stories. So when you see Hyperion doing, in Marvel Comics, it's like seeing how would Superman react in these situations, or what would he
yeah,
do in this situation. And DC has the same type of deal with,
yeah,
Aquaman. Aquaman, it's the same thing. Like a lot of the competition is a lot of, back in the day, it was just, oh, you got a fire guy. All right, we'll have a fire guy, and back and forth they went. So
yeah,
he's one of the older ones that they they didn't tweak or twist too much when they got their version of Superman. Whereas later on when they tried to do a character similar, they would go the Black Bolt or a Sentry route where there's something
yeah,
a big twist to it to make it their own. But
yeah,
Hyperion is awesome though.
yeah, yeah. Anthony, what you think, bro?
Yeah, I think you're right though. It's almost too much of a carbon copy, so they would have to totally kind of reinvent the character. I think, a little bit, not like too far fetched, but like the problem I'm thinking though too is there's so many awesome characters, especially when we get up more on these cosmic levels, and we're still waiting for like Adam Warlock, I'm still waiting to see like Nova. I'm
Yeah,
like, so I don't know what they're like. How far down the road can we go when we can finally expect to start seeing these types of characters? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. It's. I don't think. Again,
I'd love to see it all. Believe me. I mean, I know you
yeah.
would too. Like, I'd love to see all of this. But
Yeah, I would definitely love to see it, but the thing is, it's like, no matter what I would want to see, it's logic, and
right,
I don't think again, the MCU is looking for the next Superman. They're not looking for that, and I don't. That's the thing. In the MCU right now, they're not playing catch up to anybody. DC is playing catch up right now. This is what they're trying to do, which
right.
I don't think they need to do, but this is what they're trying to do. So, in my opinion, I don't think that they need to. This is why I don't think that we'll actually ever see a Hyperion, in the MCU. The next character we might, and a reason why I say the next character, before we get there, I'm gonna let Brendan, talk about this character, but before we get there, like the next character we might, based on that character's history, and because they're really a complex character with a lot of dark, whatever. But yeah, Brendan, what you think, bro?
I don't. Yeah, I don't see us seeing a Hyperion in the MCU. I mean, he literally was created to be Marvel's version of Superman back in like the late '60s, early '70s. Like,
Yeah.
like his creator flat out said he was our answer to Superman. And that's exactly the reason why I don't think Kevin Feige is gonna fuck with that, because, like you said, this is like Marvel and Disney. They're not playing catch up with DC and Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Like DC and Warner Brothers aren't even on Marvel's radar, given how they've performed in the last decade. So, I don't think Kevin Feige even wants a hint of like, oh, we're trying to like do our version of Superman. He's like, no, fuck Superman. We don't need that. So, I don't see Hyperion. I mean, the only kind of shred that I think that would make it possible that we would see him is he does have this loose kind of tie to Kang from his early days, his origins with like the Grandmaster and stuff. So that's the only reason. Like if we didn't have Kang being a central figure of this phase of the MCU, then I would say absolutely 1000% no.
Yeah.
Because there's Kang is there, I'll say there's like a 0.00000000001 chance of Hyperion showing up in the MCU.
Yeah,
and even that I don't believe. So.
My whole thing though too is if we're gonna start bringing in like these cosmic level villains, then we need to have the scale. We need to start having like cosmic level heroes, because as it stands right now, there's not too much in the MCU that's going to be able to compete with like what may be coming. You know what I mean?
Right, but we'll absolutely get people like Nova and Adam Warlock.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
I don't think we'll get Sentry, but I think even Sentry would come before Hyperion.
Yeah, I could see them using Hyperion with all of Squadron Supreme to give a shot to Straczynski and Gary Frank's Squadron Supreme on like Disney Plus. And the only with that is like that would be something that could be like not necessarily a what if, but like their version of one shots. So down the line, if they started doing, like Marvel does have non-continuity types of books like that. If they came up with a show on Disney Plus that would be focused on that, that'd be great. But at this point, I don't think they want anything that is kind of like here's our like quirky Justice League team, which to comic book fans we're used to that, and we like seeing a Nighthawk and the Green Lantern type of character and that type of team dynamic that was obviously like a play on Justice League with Squadron Supreme comic. That's awesome to me because I love seeing that type of team like interact in Marvel without it being in regular continuity. But I could see it being like a Disney Plus or a separate thing, because I don't see any reason why Marvel can't also do one shot ish type stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think they will, just because I think they've seen how much that's confused people on the DC side, and I don't think Kevin Feige's interested in doing that. Just thinking about that though, and we've kind of got it with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's kind of what that is. But I was just thinking, like, I was just going back through some of the old like team up books, like Wolverine and Spidey, and and stuff like that. I'm like, I remember those little like 6-issue like run like miniseries where it was just like a team up book.
Marvel team ups, man.
Yeah,
remember all those? Like,
and I'm just thinking it's like
Daredevil
and Punisher.
Like, to do the cover, and then he didn't do the art on the side, and that was like 14.
Yeah, but so I'm kind of like, you know what? I think it would be cool if either in a main MCU movie or as a Disney Plus series here and there, they're like, we're gonna do like a. Not that he's in the MCU right now, Daredevil, but like we're gonna do like a Spider-Man and Daredevil team-up movie. It's not like Spider-Man 3 or Daredevil 2 or a new it's either like a 6-hour Disney Plus show or an actual theatrical release, like Daredevil and Spidey, or like it starts out as a versus and then turns into a team-up, so it's like Spider-Man versus Wolverine, or like Moon Knight versus Daredevil, or
it was
do
kind of
something like that.
It was like Netflix kind of with Daredevil and Punisher. I mean, similar. You know what I
that's
mean?
Basically how they
confronted and then I love that.
There's a lot of teams like that, like Spider-Man and Human Torch. So that's a long-running history of them.
Yeah.
And it's
Spider-Man and Deadpool even would be cool, but
definitely
Spider-Man and Daredevil, like there's a long history of that, and it's one of those things where there's little
Ghost Rider and
there's
Daredevil.
little
Yeah.
mini relationships like that we haven't been able to see because of because of rights issues that I'm looking
Hmm.
forward to down the line of them finally being able to integrate and you know like slide in there.
Hmm. Um, Now the next character, the reason why, and I'm gonna save the best for last, but the next character that I wanted to kind of bring in, because like I said, the reason why I say I can see them possibly, treading that line, is because this character has a lot of, history, you know, and I'm talking about dark history when it comes to like mental instability, mental issues, mental health issues. And of course, we talked about him before, and that's Hint the Century. I can see them, again, if they're even treading along the Dark Avengers line, of course, I can see them actually bringing this character in for a minimum or a minimal run. He's extremely OP. Like this character is
Yeah.
extremely like if you bring a character in and literally
Him
that one
up.
character can break Asgard, that's it.
He ripped Ares in half.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
broke Asgard, bro.
Yeah.
Literally broke Asgard.
Didn't they do that when they sent him and Gladiator, or was that?
No, they
You
just
remember
sent him. It was just him. It was basically, remember when the Void overtook him? The Void became that living embodiment of the Void, and then of course, the only thing that I didn't like about that run is at the end of they made him this human-sized crab looking in this type of
Oh
thing.
yeah,
and
okay,
that,
yeah, yeah. It's been. A
and
minute.
then,
Yeah,
like
know
I
what you're
said,
talking about.
Loki sacrificed himself again in that run to help stop him. But at that time, that's one of the reasons why Asgard fell to Earth, and we actually have Asgard on it was because of this guy. I mean, extremely OP.
He
He
just got his
basically,
ass whooped recently, though.
yeah, he did,
He
yeah,
did. He got his ass whooped.
but I mean, one man who completely ripped Ares in half, like literally tore him in half like a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Like this man is OP. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't think. I mean, if they brought him in, I think it would be an interesting run if they kind of dulled him down slightly, make him powerful but not as OP. Would it be somebody I would actually want to see? It's up for debate because, like I said, this again, we talked about this before. There's so many other characters that we would actually want to see first. Like we still haven't seen, bro. You don't know how much it really pissed me off that we didn't get Adam Warlock in the Infinity Story, bro.
Yeah,
that
I was
me off to the end because you basically you teased him,
Yeah.
in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then we don't get him, and we probably get him in this next film, but it's too late where he was basically like he would have been relevant at that time, and it was a good way to segue him in and bring him in, but they just did not do it.
It should have been Adam Warlock instead of
Exactly,
Captain Marvel.
it should have been. It basically it should
You know
have
what I mean? Like
exactly. It should have been Adam Warlock all around, bro. But they just they missed that opportunity. Anyway, Vinny, what do you think about the Century, bro?
I'll be right
Century-
back. Sorry.
The Century has such a amazing setup because Marvel teased that it was a long lost Stan Lee character from the '60s when he was co-creating Spider-Man and Captain and all these other characters, and that there was like a character that got lost in the shuffle that they never put out, and they had this long ramp up, and really it was just Paul Jenkins, but it was just brilliantly executed because it was kind of like a media type of stunt that
Yeah.
they brought him in, and then what we got was this somewhat Superman type character with the power of a million suns, exploding suns, and all that. But the coolest thing about him, of course, was his greatest weakness was his self, that he was
Yeah.
manic and he had a split personality, and that his other personality was the Void, which is on scale of power of as powerful as he is, that's as evil and powerful as the Void is. So he was afraid of himself to use his own power, so he psyched himself out of even being helpful in a lot of situations. I love that dynamic that Bendis played with using Sentry and the New Avengers when they rebooted it after Disassembled, and Sentry is amazing. He's incredible character, and you really gotta love the mental health aspect that they tied in with him being, afraid to like go full out, and what would happen if he let his guard down and like opened himself up to using his powers. So it's one of those, you know, great, dichotomy stories of him being his own worst enemy, really, because there's so
Yeah.
many situations where he could help, but he just, was afraid to, do more harm than good. Sentry is
Yeah.
awesome character, great design. Just I can only imagine how amazing and vibrant he would look on screen, and
Yeah.
and then the aspect of his mental health and everything on screen would be incredible too. I would love
Yeah.
to see Sentry on film one day.
Can you imagine if he looked just like that too?
That's what I was saying. Like, just imagine if they didn't punk out from going the full yellow with the bright S.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, since we're talking about this, Vinny, who do you think, if you think about it, who do you think could play this character?
I'm thinking old wrestlers, man. And in my head, I'm thinking something like, oh, he's got to be big. You know what I mean?
Vinny, did you freeze? He froze.
He did.
Either that or he's really deep in fucking thought.
Vinny froze. Like, he literally froze up.
This picture right here reminds me of like old school, like not now obviously, but like late '90s, like Triple H from like.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's like old like wrestling, or even like.
Yeah.
Oh, who was I'm thinking?
I don't know who. I don't know. See, here's the thing. I don't think that we're gonna see Sentry for the simple fact that somebody like Sentry, Hyperion, I think they evoke Superman to the super initiated comic fan too much that I don't think they want anything that would make it look like this is our version of Superman, because they don't want it to seem like they're doing the Marvel version of anything DC. And so that's a reason why I don't think that we're gonna see Sentry. It would be cool if we did. But I think they're like, you're gonna draw parallels to Superman. Fuck off! Like we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Now,
Problem is that we don't have a lot of big buff guys in the movies these days.
no,
you
I
know
mean you
what
got like Chris Hemsworth.
But you
he's
know
taken.
what?
Sorry.
Luminar, she brings up an entry. Skarsgård could play him.
Yeah.
He's a good choice that he could actually play him. Like, you know what I mean? He doesn't really have to get overly buff to do it, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? Like, he can get buff, but not too much. But, again, we like we're always saying, like, I just don't see them bringing in
I don't. Yeah,
a super.
I don't either.
I think
This
they
brings
want
up
to
a
stray away
question
from
for
that.
me.
Yeah.
This brings up a question for me though. Somebody's Brad Pitt or Triple H. Like I'm Brad Pitt back when he was in was it Troy? With the longer blonde
Yeah, that
hair.
could have worked.
I could see maybe him doing that.
Yeah.
Now my question is, now Sentry just got his ass whooped by Null.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He showed up in a badass, appearance, like the way he came out, appeared on the page. I was like, oh shit, it's going down. And then he just got straight mollywopped. All right. So, at the end, spoilers for King in Black if you haven't read it for the next 10, 30, 20, 30 seconds, whatever. Although it's not really that spoilers, and we know eventually the heroes win, but Venom beats Null. He essentially becomes the new god of the symbiotes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Is Venom Omega level now? Because Null was beating the shit out of every hero in Marvel Comics, including Omega level characters like Storm, like Cyclops, like Sentry. I mean, he was just kicking the shit out of everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Venom, through the light side and the surface shows up. He beats him and becomes the king of the symbiotes now. Is he not Omega level now?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that story was it was centered around, pretty much Null and Venom, that interaction. So it's hard to say because I don't think that, number one, I don't think that the focus is going to be on Venom being at that particular scale, because they want to actually, with Venom in that particular storyline, I think they want to mainly have him focused on as just always mirroring, like, within its Spider-Verse itself, but not to where it's a character that's gonna really, they're gonna sit around, they don't want the focus to be on him as that large scale powerhouse of a figure.
Yeah.
Now that's
Sorry,
to say,
hold on, just
now
to answer a question that who asked,
is that Mike Field?
Yuli 2 and D Kid, I don't know. But he asked if Omega isn't Omega level reserved for mutants only. It is not. Sentry is not a mutant. Same thing.
That's like kind of a recent thing that Marvel did.
It used to be Omega was like a classification for mutants when you're talking about like Jean Grey and Magneto and stuff like that. I think that's originally kind of where it kind of started. But Omega is just a power classification in general. In Marvel Comics, it's not exclusive to mutants anymore.
Right. Yeah, like you remember back in the day, we'd get like the old like Marvel series, 1, 2, 3, 4, cards, or the Flare Ultras, and they'd have their power gauges on the back, and then it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like when those are like maxed out bars, that's like kind of like what we're, what I mean? We're talking about that level of like.
And I mean, the thing is, there are plenty of characters that you wouldn't think are Omega level. Like when you think of like some of the guys we've been talking about tonight, and then you throw in Bobby Drake.
No, like Iceman, exactly.
Iceman is Omega level, but he is.
You can freeze water in an instant.
Like literally, I mean, our bodies are made of water.
Nothing but water. Yeah.
Iceman could basically just freeze the molecules inside your brain and just kill you like that. The reason people don't realize that he's Omega level is because he exercises the restraint to not use those powers. Same thing like Cyclops. People think, well, he's kind of one-dimensional. He's just got the laser beams coming out of his eye. Those blasts. I mean, he uses the visor for a reason. Like, he could crack the Earth in half if he unleashed the full power of even his brother, Havoc. That's the other thing, too. You realize, while it's not exclusive to mutants, the Jean Grey, Scott Summers fucking family, man, that's just Omega level out the ass. Havoc is Omega level. Was it their daughter, Rachel Grey, Cable? They're like... I mean, I think one of the only ones that might not be is Cyclops' father.
Corsair,
but he's
right?
also a space pirate, so I mean that's still pretty badass as it is. But yeah, I mean that family is like Omega out the ass.
I think with Bobby though, because like I said, I mean when he first explored his level of Omega, usage or that Omega level, it's because Emma Frost was the one who actually opened up that layer for him.
She's Omega level too.
Yeah, she's extremely Omega level. You know what I mean? But she's the one who actually opened up his capability and allowed him to see it, because she was like, you've always hindered yourself. You've held you held yourself back for so long. You've never explored your potential. And she unlocked that for him. And that's how for again, us basically, we're the living embodiment of H2O, also to the point where now he can even he can make dupes of himself. You know what I mean? Like that's just how powerful he is.
Right, that's the point, is that like he can essentially reform his body no matter what happens to it, unless it's completely vaporized.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a lot more powerful than people think. And again, this goes back to like Marvel, like trailblazes in a lot of ways, because he's also a gay character.
Yeah.
It's like he's one of the most powerful. I mean, he's restrained, so people don't realize how powerful he is. But when you look at the list of Omega level characters, you've got, again, we're talking about a fair amount of diversity. You've got men, women, gay, straight, white, black, Native American. Like you've got a lot there. Like the Omega level is not just Magneto. He's Jewish. Like you've got a whole range of these characters
of
and
diversity.
you know, yeah.
And
Well, that's what
you
people
know,
I don't think understand now, and that's why I don't mind so much what Marvel's do. I like it because, you know, I mean, that's kind of like what you were saying earlier with Stan Lee and everything back in the day. Like that's what X-Men was all about. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Originally, like, so
yeah,
I don't know why
that's
people are complaining about where this direction is going.
Yeah.
I love it. Like it's something for everybody.
yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing is, bro. People have been, you know, we've always skated on this line of, you know, well, this person's white. You know, the majority of the characters that we actually see are white. You know, so for you to change that, no, the thing is they were only focused on because, you know, pretty much the direction that Marvel, you know, decided to, you know, take. Even it was actually touched on even before they went broke. You know what I mean? Like that it was never the intentions of Stan, you know, to not give, you know, ethnicity a chance to shine. You know, it's just the simple fact that we've been brainwashed to see these things, you know, for so long. You know, and now, you know, the focus, especially where MCU is actually taking everything right now, they're just allowing it to more so flourish to whereas we get, you know, that level of diversity. And I like that. You know, I like
Yeah.
that
Love
we're
it.
actually
I
seeing
mean,
that.
Yeah, I absolutely
people
love it too.
complained. Now, granted, like, I mean, maybe you don't like the actress in particular, or you know, and obviously the X-Men Apocalypse movie was not good. Okay, we can all
Right.
agree on that. But when they cast Olivia Munn as Psylocke, there were a bunch of people that I heard that were pissed off about her being cast, and not because of like her acting ability or whether or not they thought she had any or didn't, like, you know, just be, you know, they're like, oh, all right, well, we got to get, you know, like mixed race, like diversity kind of higher, and I'm like, motherfucker,
She's Asian.
she's Asian and British.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah, like,
comics.
Yeah.
This is
She's
the shit that
perfectly
drives me
cast.
nuts. It's like,
Yeah.
no, they're actually, whether or not you think this particular actress is good, the actual casting as far as her ethnicity is, you couldn't have gotten more accurate.
Yeah.
Like, what are people complaining about?
I don't know.
It's just outrage.
Vinny, I'm glad we got you in here, bro, because like I said, I'm glad you
Right.
came back in here. Wanted to leave because I know this is like, you know, it's a character that, you know, and we've talked about it, you know, a couple of times. And we can all agree that when you think about the Fantastic Four, you have to think about Franklin Richards.
Yes, sir.
Literally,
Super OP.
literally OP, but a character we will for sure see in the MCU. Vinny, I'm not gonna say too much more, bro. I'm gonna let the panel kind of take the reins on this because I could say so much, but Vinny, what's up, bro?
Franklin, son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm, Fantastic Four. You know, we've talked about this many times of all the different properties that Marvel didn't have when Marvel Studios got rolling. Fantastic Four was my biggest get for them. I wanted him. I wanted the Fantastic Four more than Spider-Man, more than X-Men. That's my jam. That's the first family. You know, we gotta see them. Gotta see them. Right. Franklin is incredible. We really got to first see like on a big, grand scale just how powerful he is with the Heroes Reborn story, where they got a lot of the big artists to come in and they had all these rebooted everything, and we seen after Onslaught, Franklin literally hide from all the stuff going on in the world in literally a pocket universe that he created for himself,
It's amazing.
causing other universes with other alternate realities. This is just on an instinctual survival level at God, what was he at the time? 9, 8, something like that. And
Just kid.
he's just a kid, and his power set is just so incredible. Just basically, he willed himself to be important, and that internalized into being one of the most powerful god tier. Like, there's only so many characters in Marvel above his power level when he's at his peak. There's really very few that are stronger, more powerful characters than him. He can create different realities. At the top of the list, that's his, that's his home run power set. He also has so many other powers like telekinesis and telepathy, all these other things, but they're not as utilized as much, or he's not as famous as much as he is for the reality warping. We've seen him in the new Secret Wars, where after everything with God Doom was over, and he had to kind of reset the world. Everything in Marvel right now is Franklin. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he when everything was all said and done, and the power of the multiple universes all combining into one, with that everything was reset by Franklin literally recreating the multiverse, and Reed almost comically, literally, pun intended, like shooting it into into space. And that was just all from his head. He's
Mm-hmm.
almost a god tier character. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
not much more, that he can do the top the feats that we've already seen him do. At one point in the future, he makes Galactus his herald.
His
Uh,
Harold, yeah.
his
Mm-hmm.
herald.
Right.
Like that's pretty much good. Says it all right there. Galactus, was his herald in the future. Um,
That's
and
some
the
big dick energy right there.
That's exactly that's throwing
Let's
your
be
weight
honest.
around a little bit. Yeah, and it's not just like, oh, here's some cool shit he did in a super random. No, he has like a long history of just amazing storylines. There's so many different stories of Fantastic Four where Franklin was able to like help his parents in some amazing way. And there's future stories of him as an adult, as Powerhouse, doing different feats. There's stories where he uses up his power in his finite, where he's able to regain his power. The Fantastic Four are just this anomaly of like one of the coolest origins of power sets in comics, where they got their power from cosmic energy. And then they have a kid who is a mutant mixed with them being having cosmic energy, super powered parents. um, and I think that his story is just so fascinating. And when you think of a mega level mutant, it really, the buck stops with, I feel, Franklin. And as much as uh, I would love to see him, I'm so excited for seeing the Fantastic Four and seeing all the stuff that they're going to do as a family, knowing that down the line, when they've run the course of different Fantastic Four stories, of all the things that they'll do,
Right. And maybe.
they know that they have that in their back pocket, that okay, they could do 10 years of 20 years of Fantastic Four movies, and then have Stu get pregnant, and oh shit, Franklin's coming. And then that's not even touching on Valeria, with the doom ramifications of that. There's so much weight, history, and lore of Fantastic Four that they have to touch on, that knowing that Franklin might not come for another 10, 15 years, and there's still so much more to go after he arrives, is just so so much anticipation to have, because Franklin has always been like one of my favorites, just because of the the massive power. Because there's so many young superheroes that we see that, oh, it turns out that they're able to like lift a car with their mind, and it's amazing. But with Franklin, it's like, no, they're no, he's a god. It's just a remarkable character that they found a way to be as powerful as he is, yet still make it incredibly interesting, incredibly like captivating in the way that they tie in the way he uses his powers, helping out his family. That I'm really psyched for what we see from him in the future. Like Fantastic Four can't come fast enough for me.
Yeah.
Same.
Brendan, what's up, bro? What you got with this, bro?
So, the Fantastic Four is one of the is what I didn't even realize that you changed my name on here. I'm I'm assuming you're the one who added the Nookie to him too.
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck? I didn't even see that either, man. What the?
Trying to drop a little fucking Fred Durst on him.
Oh my
on
God,
the
no.
slide.
Great.
Son of a bitch. All right.
Oh fuck.
Although I feel like mine is better than his, but
Yeah. Yeah.
so the Fantastic Four is a group and a book that I've always kind of dropped in and out of. I dig the Fantastic Four. Don't get me wrong, But coming up, I was 100% into X-Men and Spider-Man, and then as I got older, more than anyone, Daredevil captivated me, and so like those have been my go-tos in Marvel, sorry, and Iron Man too, especially, you know. I dropped out of Iron Man for a little while, but then with Extremis got back in hard. And so, you know, those have been my characters. So Fantastic Four is one of those kind of like, it's always there. Always going to come back to them at some point.
Yeah, like you've always dipped your toes back into
right,
it though, throughout
and
the
I
years.
love them, but I will fall out for like a year or so, and then I'll jump back in. And I might go back and catch up on that year, or I might just kind of pick up from where we're at. So... but they also been away for so long that, you know, it's fresh to have them back in. But with Franklin, I always loved. I think it's a very good idea that it wasn't just like, well, we passed on, you know, cosmic origin powers from his parents, but that there's also the X gene in play, because now that one move opens up so many doors as far as what this kid's power is really going to be like, what he's really capable of, and what characters are going to have a vested interest in his future throughout Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
And that opened the door to a lot of possibilities in terms of people who, you know, want to look out for him, people who want to ally with him, and people who want to take advantage of him. Yeah. So I really, really dig the character. I don't know if we see him in the MCU at any point, just because that would be a really long play. You know, especially when we don't even have the Fantastic Four actually in the MCU officially yet. So I don't think it's something that we see in the MCU anytime soon, but I would be down for it. But in the meantime, I mean, that's a good thing about like the characters that we've been talking about all night is some of them will be in the MCU for sure, and some of them won't. But regardless of whichever ones are, man, there's just so much like story to be had with these guys in Marvel Comics right now. And I'm having a blast just catching up on stuff that I've fallen behind on in the last couple of years. And so I think if the MCU and Disney Plus and these shows and these movies can kind of get more people, especially like younger kids, like into reading the comics right now, then I think we're going to see this like renaissance of like some really amazing characters coming into their own in Marvel Comics themselves, because there's also a lot more interest in people writing great stuff for Marvel and DC Comics right now, in the hopes that something gets, you know, made, because those contracts with the writers and stuff, those are going to start changing very soon. They've already had to go back and start kind of compensating creators and stuff for their storylines and characters are adapted to the screen, and I think that's going to start being built into more contracts moving forward, because I think the writers now are starting to realize that, and they're going to try and start to flex that a little bit more upfront instead of hoping that something happens later and then they might be able to get a piece of the pie. So I think we're about to see, I mean, not that we haven't, I think we've had some amazing writing in comics recently, but I think we're about to get a hell of a lot more, and I think they're going to invest in more of these other characters that we don't typically get in movies like, you know, the Iron Mans and the Caps and stuff, because we're seeing them work out so well right now, and it's easier for up-and-coming writers to maybe jump into like a Shang-Chi versus a Cap or a Spider-Man or something like that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential.
Yeah. Anthony, bro, what you think about it, man?
Yeah, I kind of think the same thing here, but the thing that I'm thinking mostly is that with all these characters that we're talking about, it'd be really cool if instead they aren't introduced in movies, but like, well, now that we have the Disney Plus, maybe they can just start coming out with their own shows, because like you're saying, that it's all about great writing, and a lot of times it's there's so much lore and history and story arcs that through all these characters that we've talked about that I think they might be better suited for a television show. You know what I mean? Because you can go through, like you were saying, if you really wanted to. I mean, I know they're putting Fantastic Four as a movie, but imagine if they had it like a TV show. You know what I mean? They can really just go through all these arcs in a much quicker pace, but still like have all that meat, you know? So I'm thinking, I know they won't with Fantastic Four, but you know, just as an example, or maybe they can bleed into that later on after the movies. They can have their own show that kind of follows with their, you know, the kids and everything, or you know, maybe break off into Future Foundation later with Spider-Man and Doom, or you know, like that's the problem. We have decades and decades of awesome stories. So I'm like,
that's a good problem though, right?
No, it's a fantastic problem, right? I mean, no pun intended, but you know what I mean? Like it's just, oh yeah, man. I mean, but as far as seeing Franklin coming in, I don't anytime soon.
But you know what? Okay, so I'm just gonna throw something out there because maybe we could see him sooner, but just not as a child.
Time.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, we can see him basically. I mean, listen, of course we're getting Kang the Conqueror, okay, which is a perfect opportunity to bring someone like, you know, Franklin Richards in. You know what I mean? You know, we all know who Kang, you know, really is, or he's a descendant of. You know what I mean? So it's the perfect way to basically bring, you know, Franklin into the MCU, but just the future version, coming back to warn his family and not really telling them who he is yet. You know what I mean? Just coming back and playing an integral part in the MCU as a totally different character, but him not telling people who he is. Yeah. So it's the perfect way to basically bring him in. You know what I mean? Like, just bring him in, have him actually just as someone who sits behind, spectates the whole thing just to see how it's going to play itself out. And then, you know, once the Fantastic Four is created, he comes back. Maybe he's watching over the younger self. Because remember, you know, in the books, he did come back to teach the younger version of himself how to use his ability. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. It's a way that we could actually see him, just not as people would expect.
Right.
As Sue Storm having a child automatically like that. You know what I mean?
Right. And he's there like observing. Like
he's just up there observing.
Like we're living in his universe. That's how powerful he is.
Yeah.
You
like
know what I mean?
He's an extremely powerful individual. So there's basically a good way, you know, to bring him in and to make him relevant and to make the storyline relevant. There's so many things that you can do to play with it, you know, especially considering the simple fact that, okay, so I know for a fact we're going to see a Galactus in the MCU. Sure. We will see a Galactus. We're going to see a Doom. There's no way we're going to see the proper Doom. Exactly.
Fan casting for Reed Richards, Terry Smith.
Krasinski.
Terry Smith. Terry, yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah, if he just dye his hair black, cut it short, and got in shape.
We already got the silver on the side ready.
He does. We could probably see Terry as that'd be crazy. But no, I mean, I'm
earlier though. The no name actors are really good choices.
Yeah,
too.
no name actors,
you know
and I
mean?
think that's again Kevin Feige, you know, and his team. You know, I think that's what they're going for. You know, people who fly under the radar. You know, as much as I would have wanted to see, you know, what is his name, Krasinski.
Yeah,
he could probably be all right.
I would have wanted to see it, but now I really don't. Like, I don't want to see it anymore.
Nobody knew who Hugh Jackman was.
Exactly. So
a lot of people in Marvel, nobody knew who was. I mean, keep that in mind, right?
I
mean, Chris Hemsworth, he played George Kirk.
For like 5 minutes
in the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
But that was really his biggest thing before he became Thor. Tom Hiddleston in the U.S. was known to virtually no one.
Yeah.
And now he's one of the central figures of the MCU as Loki. So, yeah, I mean, they can absolutely...
Chris Evans even.
It's happened before,
he was
too.
Human Torch, but not much.
Yeah, there's plenty of... that's why I'm never nervous when they cast somebody who I don't know. Because I'm like, okay, cool. Fresh start. Like, this could be the next... You know, this could be the next big guy, the big thing. So Marvel has actually done a pretty good job of building the fame of some, or helping to build some fame.
Well, they've had an amazing casting director for like pretty much everything.
Definitely. Yeah. It's been great, man. Hey, listen, man. Like I said, we're gonna wind it down. I'm glad that we kind of tackled this. This is pretty much something that I was really excited about, and it was a great discussion. You know what I mean? You got a lot of comic heads in here, man. Like all four of us. Anthony, thank you for coming through, bro. Come
No,
through
thanks for the
anytime,
invite,
bro.
man.
Anytime you want.
I'm down.
You
I
know,
just
you
the
can
last
come.
time I did doing the what ifs, and
Yeah,
it was a
you
lot
wanted to
too
catch up with
much.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
I can come in, but I'm gonna be like, yeah, all right. Yeah,
But nah,
no,
man, thank you. It was a great
no, I
addition tonight.
appreciate
You know what I
it.
mean, to the discussion, as always. You know what I mean. So what's going on with you, bro? What you got coming up, man?
Just I'm doing reviews on my channel for Hot Toys and other figures. I as you know, yesterday I got Rescue coming that I'm gonna
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
Yeah, dude, I think about 19 of us got Rescue coming. So and then
Brendan, We'll talk off after this, bro, because I
yeah,
don't want to
but
put that out there because you already know.
right, yeah. So
He,
we got some
he, he already
things
knows, so we'll talk off of
right.
this. I don't want to put that out there because I'll tell y'all what happened later on. But anyway,
I too
That-
did get the Green Vigilante
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
the
So
CW
good.
Flash because
yeah.
what that official list looks like, he's coming anytime. So
Oh yeah.
So I want to do
That's
a review
about
of both of
damn
them together.
time. Yeah,
I know, right? And he looks phenomenal, and I'm hoping
Yeah.
they're gonna maybe continue that line. But
Yeah,
no, I just doing my reviews and doing the streams, and you guys want to come
Definitely.
check it out? That'd be great. If you already have, I would
Definitely.
appreciate it. Like, as you know.
yeah, definitely, man. Shout out to my man, Mr. Joe Samarco. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Government use.
Benny, again, y'all follow Anthony over at Six Scale Mafia on IG and YouTube, man. Make sure that you do that. Great content, great videos, as always.
Appreciate
My
it.
man,
Yeah, man.
definitely, bro. Vin Dog, what you got coming up, bro?
I'm still buzzing off of Black Panther in concert.
Oh, real quick, bro. Tell us about that, man.
All right, so the Mann Center in Philadelphia, they have a series of events with live orchestra where they play the film or TV show that's based off of it. And they, me, Leon, a couple friends of ours did Empire Strikes Back before the pandemic, and we were supposed to do Return of the Jedi in 2020. That fell through. We're still waiting for them to do that, but then out of nowhere they come out and say that they're going to do one for Black Panther. So it's basically a full orchestra, and then they play the film, and then the orchestra plays along with the film. And then for this one, they brought out, I'm going to butcher his name, but I'm going to say it anyways. For this one, they bring out Mathamba Diop. And those drums you hear throughout all Black Panther? That is a special drum called a talking drum. And he wears it like a shoulder holster drum that sits right here. And he plays it throughout the film. And he came out as a special guest and was this dude was like the Busta Rhymes of an orchestra. Like his energy was off the charts. And he comes out and he has the African garb on, and he is just like killing it on his drums.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like after every like big scene, like he was getting standing ovations like during the film. It was incredible. And then there's so many different, like when you're watching and you're hearing it, I'm such a fan of music and the score throughout the film. Black Panther has one of the most amazing scores of all time. And the strings in this movie, the violins and the cellos are just blew me away. So live shows, definitely at Mann Theater in Philly. They do this with a whole bunch of different movies. They've done I think they've done like Back to the Future, like Game of Thrones. They've done I think they might have done Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. Like, so they do this with big films, and I was really excited for Black Panther for obvious reasons. So it was incredible. It was everything I was hoping it to be. So I'm looking forward to future films that they do. We'll definitely have to mob down there and check out, the next time they do something big. So that was amazing. That was this past Saturday, and then I got October coming up in a week. So I'm game planning, plotting what I'm gonna be doing for those words. I'm gonna try to add an additional theme to add some difficulty to it, because I'm glad for punishment when I'm drawing. I always make it harder than it has to be. And 2 weeks, New York Comic Con.
New York Comic Con,
So
definitely.
I'm coming out with a game plan. There's some keys I want to look for there. I've been holding off eBay and buying stuff. I'm trying to focus on the event, and definitely starting to get excited for it. Planning out my work week so that way when it comes up on that week, all the stuff is done as soon as possible, so that we can focus on
We can just pill out.
getting on the road and getting to NYC and just doing it up like we do, man. I can't wait.
Definitely. People, make sure that you follow Vinny on Vincent Dunn Art on Instagram. Amazing pieces. You can actually also get some pieces at his store. So, I'll put the link up next time, or you can actually get some details on the Vincent Dunn Art page. So definitely you want to follow that. Max Effort Collector, aka Mike Dropper. Brendan, what's going on with you, bro?
Not much, man. I'm catching up on a lot of comics right now. So
Yeah.
I'm super psyched. There's a Daredevil event coming up toward the end of this year. It starts actually I think in December. That is going to be like a Marvel-wide event because it's going to deal finally. I think we're coming to the culmination of Wilson Fisk as the mayor of New York. So I'm really looking forward to that. For recommendations right now, I'd say absolutely, if you haven't, King in Black is great, but also the Sinister War in Spider-Man. I really dug. I loved what they did with Kindred. So that was awesome. And then people in the chat were actually mentioning another character that we didn't talk about tonight, but Korvac. And he's actually been the central kind of villain in the current run of Iron Man. And this current run has been phenomenal. The artwork I absolutely love. The whole kind of premise for this one. They also bring in some characters that that you wouldn't really expect to be in there, kind of working with Iron Man. Scarlet Spider actually is in there for a minute, and some others. We've got Patty. Looking at from Jessica Jones fame, like there's a lot of really cool characters that jump in there. So I've been loving that. I mean, Iron Man's one of my all-time favorite characters too. So check those out if you haven't. I know we didn't really do like official like recommendations, but those ones, Sinister War, the current Iron Man run, and King in Black are all phenomenal.
I'll have to check.
So,
dude, I haven't read like any comics in like a minute. Man,
yeah,
like
dude,
a minute.
there's so many
I
good
fell off
runs
for
right
a while.
now. There's also coming up, actually, I think November is a 6-issue miniseries team up, Cap and Iron Man, with Alex Ross doing all the cover art.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, I gotta check because I just got that Secret Wars Alex Ross
dude.
right there in the background. Man, it's hard to see them. You know what I mean? But like that Secret Wars one is like, I love Alex Ross, and I got two more coming.
He's my favorite.
Same.
Comic artist.
The Fantastic Four art's coming, and then that X-Men one that's like the original X-Men, and then the giant size behind them. I got both of them coming from Sideshow, so I'm like.
And so that's why when he does those, like I'm absolutely getting all of those variant covers for that 6-issue run that's starting. Like I said, pretty sure it's November. So I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, man, what we got, basically I'm just kind of, enjoying my PS5, Leo. Just trying to do that as much as I can. It's that's okay. That's okay. You can hate. That's all right. It's a lot of fun.
I only want it so I could play that Miles Morales, man.
Definitely. Make sure you follow Brendan at Max Effort in Real Raleigh on Instagram, fucker.
And then
make sure that you basically
Instagram
follow.
Fucker. It's a new. And then we got Wednesday night, right?
Wednesday night, yes. Basically, most anticipated figures. So tune in for that. And like I said, it's going to be a discussion all about 1/6 scale Hot Toys figures and what we expect, what will be delayed.
That aren't coming out.
Exactly.
This year.
It's going to be an all-out discussion. So yeah, we'll definitely tune in for that. It's going to be interesting to see. Follow all these guys on their pages. Also, you want to definitely follow the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel. Again, we try to bring as much content that we can. You know, we have Say What, we have the Uncivilized Scoundrels, we have, you know, Comic Talk with Friends, and also, you know, I do some unboxings. I do have 2 videos coming up this week, and they're actually take your position poses. One is a, you know, pretty much companion pieces. So my companion pieces, there are 2 companion pieces that I'm choosing. One is, well, actually both. It's the Noir, Batman and the Joker. There's going to be basically the Wasp and Ant-Man, and then I'm doing one, you know, take your position, you know, because it's pretty much a complicated figure to really pose up. But I'm gonna show you how you can actually play around with it and give it some presence, and that's Captain Marvel. So tune in for those videos. Actually, it's 3 videos coming this week. So stupid. So yeah, we'll actually have that coming up. So yeah, tune in for that. Again, follow the 16 Scale Man YouTube channel. On, you know, you can follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. So yeah, man, thanks for everybody. As a matter of fact, is also hit the like button on this video tonight. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. So glad to have everybody here. I do want to address the chat again before we bounce out. Lynch Design in the building, Mike Fiala, Brian Hepburn, Tobar. We have who we have? Well, Vinny in the building. We got let's see here, 6 Scale Mafia all day. Let's see here, Joe Samarco, the Titty Maker. What's going on with you, man? We have
Somebody want a glass of milk.
Trim Dust. We have Trimble Dust in the building. Oh man, Lynch Design. Let me see who else we got up in here. Toya, my baby, thank you for coming through always and for the continued support. Love you. We have Max Geekdom in the building. Yuli, second kid in the building. Let's see here. We have Luminara 843 was here. Thank you for coming through. My man Max, he always comes through in the clutch. Malachi Mabane, thank you for coming through, man. Definitely. Yeah. You know, who else we have? Quite a few here. Ryan, when you were here, thank you for coming through, man. I know you're going to actually be out there enabling a group of individuals. JB Remy 1 is in the building. DK in the building. And also thank you guys, everybody who actually put a super chat in. I do appreciate that. Thank you for that. Again, tune in next time, man. We're going to have great content on next week's show. Again, make sure that you subscribe to all these guys that you basically see here. Keep it classy as always. I'm telling you, man, we just bring nothing but the peace and positivity in this group. Comic discussions, as always, you want to keep it real. Let's go. Let's just keep it going. Love you guys. Peace out. And let's keep it moving.
Peace.